Hey folks, welcome to week 3 and week 4 of the Solana India Fellowship. Week 3 is already over and week 4 is ongoing. So I'm really excited that now you have progressed to the main topics like NFTs and exploring more around cryptocurrencies, right? Of course, some part of gaming as well. I'm sure in week 3 you have already gone through content around building your own crowdfunding platform and try to attempt the exercise to create a small payment channel, right? Week 4, that is this week, is really all about NFTs. A lot about the NFT ecosystem uh, is becoming more and more popular, mainly because of the way we can kind of understand the ownership of a piece of work that is whose attributes are primarily characterized by the creation of that work, the uniqueness that is being provided by the creator to that particular asset, and the ability to track the ownership of that work throughout the life cycle of that work. I mean, you're all aware of what NFTs are, I'm sure. In this week 4 walkthrough, I want to provide a few pointers on the existing quests that are there related to NFTs, and some quick tips and tricks that will help you get through the exercise, and what you could potentially do as a part of the exercise. I hope you were able to attempt the week 3 exercise. The bidirectional payment channel exercise, for me particularly, is inspired from the Solidity by Example docs. The link also is shared with you. Let me just share my screen. So the link to this, I'm sure you have taken a look, and it uses couple of cryptography principles that kind of determine how the entire process must happen. You can see that the code in itself is not super complicated, and probably something that you could replicate in Solana. But the most important thing would be if you are able to find these kind of libraries, the ECDSA library, the equivalent of that in Solana, and you are able to perform the actions that are related to the signatures, right? There is, however, if you are still stuck with this exercise, in the Solidity by Example itself, there is a unidirectional payment channel, which is something you could look at and probably start from there and move on to a bidirectional payment channel. If you find this as something that is too complex, then you could also look at just building an application where you need to sign messages, right? The idea of this is just to be able to understand how signatures will work between different parties, right? Here, the transfer is happening off chain. However, in the Solana ecosystem, uh, uh, I mean, the idea of this Solidity by Example and the transfer to happen off chain, and why this use case is important in the Ethereum ecosystem, is keeping in mind the gas fees, right? Whereas on the Solana ecosystem, we don't really have to worry about the transfer happening off chain. What you need to think of is, given a message, right? How do you ensure that given an action, part of it can happen off chain, and how you can sign off on particular messaging using the contract system, right? How can you create a signature on blockchain to ensure that a message is being passed from one party to another? You can build something just as simple as that as well, right? You don't have to go into this entire kind of bidirectional payment channel or even the unidirectional payment channel. Just ensure that you are able to show that a message signing can happen, right? That's the aim of why this particular exercise is given to you. For week Week 3, the other things I'm sure must have been fairly simple, and you must be all up and running with that. Week 4, as I said, is all about NFTs. Mm, the week 4 actually is quite interesting, and you will find that there is a recent quest written by our quest developer Vamsi, who has upgraded the Metaplex Quest to version 2. This is the Candy Machine Quest. To be honest, in order to build an entire end-to-end NFT marketplace, this is literally the quest. This has everything in it, so this is literally the only thing that you would need. A couple of things to kind of keep in mind is the point number 8, where you have the configuration of the candy machine. I would say try to really go through what is happening here and be able to understand how the configuration is set up, and what each of these things, the key value pair, right, what each of these keys signify, because this is something going forward your configuration will change. For example, here in the candy machine project, you have rweave as one of the inbuilt storage mechanisms. So here the storage is rweave. uh, I won't I don't expect you to explore all the different possibilities right away in this week. But what if you have to change the storage to have a different pinning service like Pinata? What if you have to use your own IPFS server? In that case, is it possible to kind of make some tweaks over here, right? As you are going through this configuration, as you're going through the different configuration files, ensure that you are asking all of these questions to yourself and probably making a note as to if things need to change, then how would they change, right? uh, So all of the description, this is honestly one of the very well written quests. Also because it was written quite recently, I think the information is pretty up to date. So this is something that you should definitely go through. Take your time, go through the quest and see what is happening, what are the commands and what these commands are doing. This quest is fairly simple. Like we have 10 items, which are going to be the images for the NFT and their corresponding metadata. These are going to exist in your asset folder. And from the there's also instructions on how you can create the metadata and things like that. So you can just follow everything over here. Now, one of the things that you need to also keep a note that this quest is combining the both uploading on RV, that is your NFT images, as well as your metadata is going to be uploaded on RV. You can see that in the creating the candy machine, there is an upload event, right? So your upload, as well as actually getting creating your marketplace, the entire thing is happening here. So here we have not given so much description about how RV would work and what it means to kind of upload things on IPFS, or what IPFS means and what is the significance of having a decentralized storage. Sorry. But that is something that I would explicitly like you to explore as well this week. Something about if you are new to IPFS, try and read couple of things on what is IPFS and what does it mean to kind of store things on IPFS. Just try to basically break down on what is happening in these steps, right? um, you can also find more documentation about how RV works on rweave.org. It is pretty straightforward. You can browse the wiki, you can understand what is happening. And in case you want to understand more about the tech behind RV, then you can also see a couple of videos and references on what is Blockweave. I think there are a couple of good videos by the RV team itself. So you should be able to figure it out as to what RV was built on top of. Even the documentation is, I have found this to be pretty good. What are bundles, and basically what is the RV project all about, what is the protocol, etc., right? So you can see here you have different ways on how you can store. There's also building on RV, which could be something that you could potentially kind of take a look at later. But understanding IPFS and the entire ecosystem is very, very important for NFTs, because the first step to actually decentralizing the ownership of a non-fungible asset is being able to store it in a decentralized manner, right? So that's going to be a first step in every application that you're going to be building. So it is important to understand how this works. Once you have that nailed, I think rest of the things are pretty straightforward. You will be able to build the front end and kind of see through all of this. It's pretty straightforward, and you can update. So now another thing that I would suggest you to explore is uh, try to change the configuration from your earlier configuration, and try to add stuff or update some of these key keys and the corresponding values, just to see how things could change in your final application. So definitely try that out, so you'll know what are the steps that would be required to redo once you update the config.json file, because sometimes you might not be able to sometimes you might change the things in the config file and see that it's still not reflecting in your actual application. In that case, there are some steps that you have missed, right? So this would be helpful. And yeah, of course, there are some challenges that you can attempt to if you would like, but you already have one assignment that you would need to attempt. Now, this assignment, create an NFT marketplace, is pretty straightforward. I did not give anything too complex, primarily because this quest is a long quest and you will take your time finding out things, like I said, like IPFS, and then how the entire marketplace itself can be built. There is just one small change that you would need to do. That would be in terms of plugging in either some kind of service that you could do, or you could write your own contracts where you can generate some kind of on-chain SVGs. I would not suggest to do that right away. This is something which could result in being slightly more complex at the moment. But I would just suggest that you the NFTs. So basically, there are a couple of steps at which you will be breaking this down, right? The first is you have the images. You are going to and then you have a corresponding metadata. So you're going to upload the images and the corresponding metadata onto the uh, onto IPFS. And what you want essentially to do is that this particular image, you want to change something in the image, right? Or you want to change something in the metadata. That this is the dynamic change that I'm talking about. So you say that you change the way an image appears, and you make the look of the image dynamic, and then you would need to change the image itself, as well as the link of that image that will be there present in the metadata. So you will need to, when it comes to the dynamism, you can write a service that will change the image at frequent intervals, or after an interval of time, and you will have to redo the entire process of uploading the image, re-uploading the image onto IPFS, right? And the second thing is, you will have to figure out how you can update the metadata for that particular NFT on chain, right? So Solidity gives you the ability to update the metadata on chain by using some set metadata kind of functions, and there will be similar constructs in other programming languages as well. So for Solana, especially with the Candy machine, you will have to figure out where a particular uh, JSON or particular metadata is being associated to a particular NFT, right? And that is where you'll have to make the change or make the tweak, like probably the updation or something on this on these lines that you can figure out. Now, there is also this very cool contract repo by Austin Griffith with Scaffold ETH, where he has written a contract to create an SVG on chain, right? So, this is also something pretty cool that you could kind of look at. It was a longish thread by Austin Griffith that spoke about how you can create your own SVG NFT, where the smart contract renders the NFT itself. And if you are interested in that, you should definitely check it out and see if you can write the smart contract. However, this will be something that is slightly more advanced. So I wouldn't recommend to do this right away. But if you are interested, then definitely yes. Uh, Apart from this, there is another NFT based quest, which is create and burn your NFT in Solana, just using Web3 only. So this is also a pretty straightforward quest. Before going through the Metaplex, the Candy Machine quest, you can go through this one, because here you have some basics of like what are non-fungible tokens and why create your own non-fungible tokens, some prerequisites that you would require. I think this you have already crossed all of the stage. Then you have your Metaplex NFT creation flow, which is what you're doing in the Metaplex quest, the Candy Machine quest. And then you have transactions that need to be signed, and a couple of the burn functions that you would need to add. So this is a kind of cool quest as well. It could be something, if you are thinking of some out of the box use cases for NFTs, where you use the NFT as a temporary proof of skill and then burn them. Once that particular proof of skill is completed, or you create an ecosystem where there are limited NFTs, which are time bound NFTs, maybe for some kind of events, maybe for some kind of conferences, or wherever you have a use case where you need to create time bound NFTs. There you could potentially use this quest and plug this in on creation and burning them as well after a particular amount of time, right? So this could be something cool that you can think of from an NFT utility perspective. And if you have a project idea around that, I think this quest would be really useful. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I think the notes for last week and this week, it's really all about just getting into the Solana ecosystem and understanding how you can build out end-to-end dApps. If you are still wondering how you can kind of start with the smart contract part in Solana, then I would definitely recommend Anchor. Anchor is a cool framework where you can work with your smart contracts. So smart contracts in Solana are called programs. So Anchor gives you the ability to kind of it wraps up all the important elements and gives you the ability to just think of how you can write your core logic. So I would definitely encourage you to explore Anchor and figure out how you can start writing your smart contract logic. I think this is the right time for you to, though the earlier quests do not require you to write intense logic. I think this week onwards is the right time for you to start understanding how to write your own contracts, how to plug in your logic within a Rust contract, being able to compile individual Rust contracts and plug and play this in your upcoming projects or in your project that you're going to be building for the Solana fellowship. All right, so I think that's week 3 and week 4. So if you have any questions, feel free to post on the Questbook Discord as well. There are a lot of other folks who are attempting the quests, so you should be able to get some help wherever you might be stuck. And as you are already into week 4, by now I'm sure you are already thinking about what project you are going to be attempting. What this week 4 is actually a really good time to get started on your project. If it is, specifically if it is around the NFT ecosystem, I think you already have an end-to-end quest which can help you right away get started with the project. And definitely you can implement the other things as they keep coming in the next couple of weeks, and take some inputs from the complex dApps, or add some elements of DeFi into your NFT project. But doing this end-to-end quest would definitely help you get started with the whole NFT ecosystem, especially if your project is around the NFT. All right. Best of luck, folks, and do let us know if you have any questions, or if you need any pointers on how you can work on this particular task. I would say before even you go to the task, just try to run the main quest 1 or 2 times with couple of changes in the configurations, and then you can try to attempt this the task over here. I'm just going to add this Austin Griffith thread that I bookmarked. Sorry, uh, to the course content over here, just so if you want to kind of take a look at the right, okay, I'm not logged in, but basically I will add this over here. So if you want to take a look at how the SVGs are being created on chain, rendered on chain, then you can take a look at the GitHub repo and the contract itself. All right, awesome. Thanks everyone, and have a good week. I hope you are all ready and all geared up for your upcoming projects.